Hello and welcome to the Level Cap Podcast. I am your host, D. Brad Talton Jr., also known as Brad, and with me is my critically acclaimed co-host, Marco DeSantos, aka the Mechanic Critic, aka Eminem Kami. This is the man you know and love. Let's give it up for Marco!
And otherwise?
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about all things level 99 games and otherwise.
Yes. Hello, good morning, Brad. Can you cue like the sitcom audience laugh when I come in?
When you come in the door? Shouldn't it be the standing applause when you come in the door?
No, like, because I'd like to believe that instead of being the very, very popular main character, I'm that kooky side character who like.
So you're Urkel, who eventually becomes more popular than the showrunners.
Yes, I am literally. No, sorry, I'm not Urkel. I am Stefan Urkel.
I see.
I'm the popular smart one who's smooth with the ladies,
but still gets the laugh track.
Yeah, of course, definitely.
Okay. That works for me.
That's the only way it ever works, Brad.
How are you doing today? How's the moonlight over the Philippines?
Well, number one, I'm not in the Philippines.
Oh, right. You're on travel this week, aren't you?
Yes, business trip. So I've been this is why, if anybody's been wondering, why isn't Marco too chatty these past few days or weeks? And I'm like, this is the reason I'm on a business trip. So, it's nice actually.
Makes you feel all grown up when you go on a business trip, doesn't it?
Oh, Brad, you're reminding me that I'm old.
It makes me feel grown up too. When I go to a show or something, especially if I get invited to a show, it's like, oh man, I'm a real adult now. People want me to show up and talk about stuff.
Oh man, that's true. Hey, I like it when you show up and talk about stuff. So I guess
that's true. I guess this whole podcast is kind of like one big business trip, isn't it?
Huh? If you think about it that way, that's kind of true because it's a business trip to the magical land of level 99 games. Yeah,
an internet business trip.
Okay, I think we're straying away from the point here. Welcome to the Level Cap Podcast, where Brad and I will be talking about all things level 99 games, and otherwise we have a wonderful docket for you tonight. We will be talking about some certain things, some things you may be interested in, some things you may or may not be interesed in, but all things level 99.
And some uncertain things.
Oh, wait. How can we talk about uncertain things? It's like...
be like, I don't know, what's something you speculate about these days?
What the new Soul Calibur will be
How soon
like.
until... Yeah, what's the new Soul Calibur going to be like? See, that's an uncertain thing. We could talk about that. All right, let's get back on track. So we have a lot of cool stuff happening today.
Really?
Which is what Marco is about to introduce to you.
Yes, because today we're going to talk about what we've been playing. Brad, tell me, what you've been playing this week?
Well, it has all been Super Mario Odyssey for me.
Are you serious?
Huh. Yeah. Have you managed to get your handles on the Switch yet, Marco?
No, because it's expensive.
Yeah. Well, I got one for my birthday from Chad and Linda and Wendy, Chad's wife.
Happy birthday, Brad.
Yeah, and I've been playing Mario Odyssey, and it's pretty fun.
Really?
I gotta say, I really like this game.
So, what's your most favorite part of this game?
I think that this is an open world Mario game, right? And it's open world in the sense you can just go and do whatever you decide to do. But it's not like games like Skyrim or Fallout that are really heavily narrative driven, or really combat driven, or even really plotline driven. It's kind of like you're just in this theme park with tons and tons of mini games, and you just do mini games until you get tired. And then you go to a different theme park and you do different mini games.
So is this is it Mario Party?
No, it's kind of like there's this old NES game where you got to go to Disney World, and it's that. there's this old NES game where you got to go to Disney World and you do things like ride roller coasters and talk to like costume characters, and it's basically that. Like, it's a Mario theme park, and you go around and you participate in all the attractions.
That sounds pretty rad.
It's pretty incredible. Like, there's the story, and the story, like, you get through the story, and then you've got, I think, about like 150 power moons, and there's like 830 power moons in the game. So, like, as soon as you finish the game, your companion's like, was like, "Hey Mario, I know we saved Peach and beat Bowser and everything, but why do we have to stop here? Let's go keep exploring." And then you do.
Oh,
and so the end game is actually the end game is like 5 times bigger than the base game.
Wait, what? So is this like a Pokemon Gold and Silver situation?
Kind of. I mean, it's kind of like, you remember Mario 64, where like you beat Bowser and you have to get like 60 stars to beat Bowser, but there's 120 in the castle.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of things to go do. It's kind of like that, but times 5.
Times 5.
Yeah.
Huh.
But these worlds and the little adventures they put you on are pretty incredible. You can do everything from like jump rope challenge to like there's a tracing challenge. There's bonus boss fights. There's one where you have to ride a motor scooter away from a rampaging T-Rex. Like, just all kinds of crazy stuff.
So Mario's now Donkey Kong. Sorry, Crash Bandicoot. Mario is now Crash Bandicoot.
It is actually like Crash Bandicoot style, where you're looking head on at the thing coming behind him.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's pretty funny. I didn't think about it, but now that you mentioned it, it's exactly Crash Bandicoot. But yeah, the game is pretty cool. I've had a ton of fun with it.
How many hours do you have in it? How many hours, Brad?
Probably only like 15 so far. Like, I mean, I've been playing it, but it's best in small bites. You log on, you grab a few power moons, you log off, that kind of thing.
Oh, so it's...
But yeah.
It's kind of like...
It's very casual.
I didn't want to say the C word, but yes, casual.
But it is. I mean, I sit on the couch and play with Linda, and Linda goes and gets a few power moons now and then. And she's terrible and hates platformers. So, so she still manages to do it, which is a pretty strong endorsement.
From somebody who usually doesn't play, you mean?
Yeah. Like, she played as the little navigator thing in Galaxy, and then I had to carry her across 3D World. But with this, when she plays the little hat, it's pretty fun. She can actually go around and be really helpful with stuff.
And take over bullet bills.
Yeah.
How fun is it taking? Like, have you gotten to the part where you get to?
Yeah. I've done all that stuff. Like, the captures are pretty cool. They're a lot of fun, and the things you can capture always surprise me.
Like what's the most surprising one?
The most surprising one, probably the T-Rex. Like, if you there's like in the first stage, there's a T-Rex sleeping, and if you throw your hat at it, you just wake it up and take control of it, and then walk around. And everything Mario takes control of gets a mustache. So it doesn't matter what it is.
Wait, even like a lamppost? Can you take over like
objects? Lampposts get a mustache. Electricity gets a mustache when he takes over electricity. Like the little fireballs, you can take over the fireballs, and they get a mustache. Yeah,
oh jeez, whatever. Nintendo, how we? Oh my gosh. Okay, so Mario Odyssey. Right. That's what you've been playing. Ask me.
How about you, Marco? What have you been up to?
So currently, and I literally mean currently. So before we actually started this call, I was indeed playing this game. It is a game called Slay the Spire, which recently just came out on Steam. I was when you're alone in a hotel far away from home, you kind of want to do something, right? Mm-hmm. So I was looking for
slaying spires.
Maybe slaying spires, because I needed to find something to occupy my time,
Yeah.
So I found a game called Slay the Spire, and this actually harkens back to one of our old games that we did for Game Club, because it plays a lot like Monster Slayers. A lot like Monster Slayers. But with all new cards and all new classes and all this stuff, so... It's basically like...
upgraded graphics, it looks like.
Yep. It's not like... Yeah, like the graphics are pretty nice looking. They're like painted something. It's really cool. It's really cool. And I think they're like composite sprites too. So this game's pretty cool.
Looks like it.
This game's pretty cool. I think compared to Monster Slayers, it's way more robust. It has like the deck customization is crazy. Actually, like they have significantly less classes, but every class is way more robust. I think they only have like 2 classes right now, but each class gets like 4 different builds. So like there's a warrior class. I think it's called like the Indomitable or something. And the warrior class can play like a barbarian type where you screw all defense, you go in and then you just like cast 17 attack cards and then you deal like 50 something damage or whatever. But
this is an early access.
Yeah, it's early access. Sorry, I'm an early access sucker boy.
Yeah, but it looks cool. It definitely looks cool. I think I don't want to wait till things are finished. Personally, I mean, I did like. I've played a few early access games, but like, yeah, Absolver really burned me on that.
Oh man, Absolver. But to be fair, Absolver wasn't even early access.
What? I played a lot of early access games that were more complete than Absolver.
Yeah, but it wasn't early access. Like when we bought it, it wasn't early access. Is this a joke? Oh, it's a joke.
It may be kind of a joke.
Okay, Brad. You have to understand that tone doesn't go through the internet, even if we're on voice call.
Oh, anyway.
Oh my God.
But yeah, this looks really cool. I'm gonna probably try and play this myself too.
Yeah, it's fun. So that's what I've been playing. Again, if you guys have tried any of these games, you might want to tell us how you think about them. I mean,
yeah, leave your comments.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have played Mario Odyssey at this point.
Yeah.
And I bet somebody's played this. A couple. Like you always find the really really obscure things. That are super cool.
I don't know. I'm a video game hipster. I only play indie strategy card games that come out every like 2 months or something. Anyway, that's it. But speaking of games that come out every so often, Brad, I think it's time we introduce a new segment. What do you think?
I think it's a good time for that as well, Marco. What do you have in mind?
Well, what if instead of doing a character of the week, we do like a game of the month thing where you talk about, you develop a lot of games. Like, I think I've heard about this level 99 games thing that you've been doing. And, I think it would be really useful if we got a little bit of an update or at least some dev insight to some of the stuff you've been doing.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I guess at the start of each month, I do kind of make a list of where all our projects are and what we still have left to do. So maybe I'll start off with just kind of a status update on all our different projects, and then I'll go into the development of Seventh Cross, which is my main dev project at the moment.
Ooh.
So
you mean so? Wait, how can it be the main dev project? Isn't Dev BattleCon?
Well, this is the main project that I'm developing, right? Because we have a team of like 8 or 9 people, and depending on the projects that we're doing, and so. Everybody's working on different stuff. Things are different positions in the pipeline, So like Professor Treasure is being handled right now by Josh. He's putting together like all the press files for that. Exceed Season 2, we're in press finals, so we got to approve our final proofs, and then that'll be printed. And then, but games like Argent, they're already in production, and and then the manufacturing is happening right now, and we're expecting that to arrive like late January. Same thing with like. Other things like Imperial Spells and Steam. Like, we're doing the graphic designs for that, and I got a 3D printer, and I started printing out train cars so that I can test out the train car designs that Fabio made, and also send them to reviewers in time to check out the game.
How's the 3D printer? How much did that cost you?
It's pretty cool. I mean, I don't want to talk cost. It was a business thing. Though.
No.
So
I mean, like,
we got a decent one that can make a lot of miniatures.
Ooh.
And we're going to use it to test out some of the custom pieces that we're doing for Imperial, for Seventh Cross, and I hope that it'll open up the opportunity to do a lot more like games with miniatures and terrain and stuff. So that's what I'm looking forward to with this 3D printer.
It sounds like you want the next project to get kickstarted really easily.
I hope so. I mean, I want the next project to. I want people to understand what it'll look like when it's on your table, and I think the best way to do that is to have all these train car miniatures, and then and show that to reviewers and show that at conventions.
Oh, that'll be so cool! I'm hyped about the trains. I've seen some.
We're gonna have the complete game at PAX South. So anybody who's listening, come to PAX South and play.
Oh man, you're just making people who can't go to PAX South jealous, Brad.
Yeah. Trey's going to be there. He'll be able to play the game with you at PAX South.
Will he be cosplaying as a train?
He may be cosplaying as a train. He's always cosplaying as a Trey, though. It's only one letter off.
Wait a minute, Brad. You have now introduced a really weird concept to this podcast. Are we all just cosplaying ourselves all the time?
That depends. That depends on how you feel about the ending of Danganronpa 3.
Oh, so you're done. You finished Danganronpa.
Yeah. I finished that game, and wow, that was quite an ending. So, well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but the ending for 3 is pretty great. Much better than the ending for 2. It's pretty wild.
Are we really who we say we are?
Anyway.
Anyway. So
anyway.
Tell us about Seventh Cross, Brad. I mean, like, I've been reading some...
Well, wait, I got more projects. We got more stuff going on, Marco. You're like, you're jumping the gun. You're like, we want to hear about Seventh Cross, but I got like so much other stuff. Like Noir Automata is now about to ship. We're working on a new Exceed season, which is still kind of not totally announced, but we're going to be announcing it in March officially. But if you're curious about what it is, you can just come to our dev server, and everybody's playing it already. So
let's just say that there's a lot.
There's a lot of fighting, and it happens in a place where cars drive.
Yes.
Let's leave it at that. It
involves a lot of forward, down, forward punches.
So, other than that, Temporal Odyssey is being worked on by CGC. Their studio is going to have all the artwork and design and balance finished up on the 10th of this month. And then we're going to take it over and send it off to press real quick before our end of the year vacation period.
Mm-hmm.
What else happened this year? We got a big Christmas sale coming up, which I'm planning for. And Dev Remastered is currently like in pre-production. So we're starting to do the planning stages for Devastation Remastered.
Yeah, if you're on the chat or on any of our community servers on Discord, Daniel, who does the balancing for Devastation Remastered and BCO, he's been asking people around, like who's a Cherry main? Oh, sorry, who's a Runica main? Who's a Joel main? And all that stuff. And it's like, give me some feedback. Yeah. So we're already starting to change some cards.
What do you want Voco to be? That's the big question of the hour. What is he actually going to be?
Isn't just Alt UA Voco? I think that's what we're leaning towards, right?
We're leaning towards something like the Day of the Dead UA Voco. But yeah, so we're gonna do changes for that, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when it comes. But that's planned for next like June, I think.
Well, that's
Dev Remastered.
That's far ahead of the timeline, Brad.
Well, that's how production is. Like, we get started on a game now, we actually bring it to Kickstarter in like 6 months. So there's a lot of pre-production and pre-planning that goes into these kind of things.
I see. So it's all about project management, huh?
Yeah. And in the past, we've kind of like gotten the game to the point where it's showable, and then we've gone to Kickstarter. But we're gonna try these in 2018 to like get a game to the point where it's actually totally finished, and then take it to Kickstarter so that we can just send it off right away. So like with Argent, like that was probably one of the easiest projects we've ever done because it was all done, and we were just like, oh, here's Argent. And then Festal Masks, we had to draw a few more things because a few more people backed and got stretch goals, and then we sent it off, and that was that. So I want to like structure like that in the future so that things are just done and they just go out. So with Imperial, when you back Imperial, you can know that like all the modeling is done, all of the art is done, all of the, cards and graphic design and planning are done, and all we're going to do is send it to press along with whatever stretch goals come out, and and that's going to be that.
Are you going to pre-prepare the stretch goals or not?
Yeah, we've got 2 train companies that are extra that we're going to put in stretch goals. And so if you back early, you can get those. If not, then they come out later for like 10, 15, I think probably $15 to $20 a piece, but they each come with like a new set of trains. So it's a pretty significant cost, and it makes sense for it to be a stretch goal, even if it's not new game development stuff. It's new production stuff that would, that costs a couple $10,000s to make.
How many trains are there per company?
About 30.
Oh,
and each one has their own unique mold.
Oh, geez.
Well, not each train, but each company has a unique mold.
Yeah. I was like, every train has a unique mold?
No, that's serious. The companies have these like folio binders that look like it's kind of like cross between like a restaurant wine list and a and like a corporate briefing, but you like open it up and that's your player board. It's gonna be so cool.
Oh man, so it looks like you're a train conductor. Is that like a clipboard?
No, it looks like you're at a board meeting.
Oh jeez.
This is about industrialization, right? So
I guess.
But everything's going to be super cool.
Does this like take place around the same time as the BattleCon games? Like that?
It happens during the timeline of like Fate Trials Wanderers. So during that timeline is when Imperial is happening. Like Argent coincides with the Devastation era, and then the Fate arc is like about, I want to say it's like 5 years after that, and that's around the time that Imperial takes place.
Oh, okay, and that's why Seth is now a train conductor or something.
Right, yeah, because War is actually even predates Devastation, and so Seth has not been like fighting things for like 10 years at this point.
Oh man. Oh right. This basically means that as time goes on, our fighters go out of commission and they retire, quote unquote.
Yeah, like Runica retires from being chief armiger and she goes and sets up a train company. Like stuff like that. Like this is the lore that happens in the world, and it happens over time. So and I'm hoping that we'll have a couple more Indians games like this in the near future, so that you can kind of see how the timeline evolves.
Oh man, I can't wait for Eric's Megorium Emporium, where an older Eric, Russell Zane, is now Merlin-esque wizard of like the best wizard in the world.
Maybe someday.
Wow. Okay. Sure.
He's already the best wizard in the world. We're trying to stop him from being that right now.
Oh no, that's true though. Hey, we're nerfing him. Okay. We're nerfing him, all right? At that point, we can finally put that meme to rest, okay? Gosh. Yeah. Anyway, Brad, before we get sidetracked, tell me about Seventh Cross, Brad. Tell me.
Okay, so the main project that I am working on personally is Seventh Cross. This is our adventure exploration game, but it's a lot more than just guys kill monsters. And that's kind of what I've wrestled with in the development of it, is that for a long time it was just guys kill monsters, and it wasn't that different from from like Betrayal or
Gloomhaven,
Mansions of Madness or Gloomhaven or what's the other, like Arkham Horror. It was kind of similar to those, and I was not happy about that, and that haunted me through about 30 different versions. But I'm finally happy with it, and I'm ready to tell you about some of the mechanics that are going to go into the final game box. Absolutely, definitely no more changes.
Wow. So you've settled.
After a year and a half.
You've settled, finally.
Yeah, I finally settled on everything, and I've been working on this game since like last summer, and it's now this winter. So it's been about 18 months that I've been at this.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so it's been a long dev cycle. The game kind of started out as a deck builder, and through all that, I ended up making and cutting a bunch of different things to make combat feel right. But what I've ultimately settled on is that Seventh Cross is an episodic adventure game where a team of hunters who work for this mysterious secret society called the Church travel around the world and explore spooky haunted castles while fighting these epic custom boss battles. So this is kind of what Champions of Indians promised you like 4 years ago, if you followed that project. So that's what Seventh Cross is kind of going to be about. Anyway, the game kind of proceeds like follows. You get a envelope, and the envelope is like a nice big kind of mailer. If you ever seen those like the old cheap ass games mailers, like it's a big envelope that's made of corrugated cardboard. You open it up, and inside is a letter, and the letter says, "Hunters of the Church, I need you to go here and kill these bad guys."
And so bad guys.
So you then pull out of the envelope this map, and the map has a castle, and you and your friends will say like, all right, well, we're going to go to this location, and you follow the line, you go to that location, and then you open the encounter book and you encounter whatever you find there. Sometimes it's just a story event. Sometimes it is an actual puzzle, like a true like push the blocks or jump across the pillars or like flip the switches in the right order puzzle that you have to solve to move on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like real word puzzles. Sometimes it is a lock and you have to go other places around the castle and search out things and find keys to open these locks. Sometimes it's like a big open room, and when you get to like a room that you can search, you pull up this like advent calendar type thing, and you get to pull off like certain segments of it and search areas of the room to find things. And finally, sometimes it's a giant boss battle, and when it's a giant boss battle, you fight against one of these big monsters, and this is a like 3 or 4 versus 1. Fully automated, so the all the players work together against the boss. The boss is controlled by the game, effectively. I mean, the players still operate the boss.
I see. So it's like he has a predetermined pattern, and then
he has predetermined patterns.
Mm-hmm. I see. So it sounds like, Brad, is this
Well, wait, I'm not done with it just yet. There's more to this boss.
But wait, there's more.
There's more because I've been working on these bosses for like half a year, so there's got to be more, right?
Yeah.
So the for those of you out there who've played like Dead of Winter, the boss uses effectively like a crossroads type system, where the player who's controlling the boss this turn like picks up their cards and looks at them and has reactions. And if you step into the wrong place or you try to like attack the boss when you're in range of his movements and stuff, the boss will move or the boss will attack you out of turn and counterattack. So the boss is always making reactions against you. It's a very active time battle. The boss gets a small pool of cards, about 9 or 10 cards from a pool of about 18 to 20. So even if you fight the same boss again, his action pool is going to change. So you'll have to learn the boss's movements again each time you fight them.
Oh, because it's semi-random.
Right, but when they are dealing their attacks spread out, you can kind of see like, oh, he's going to do a claw attack and a bite attack. He's going to do a fire attack and a hammer attack. And as you play through that rotation, even though the order is going to be different, you kind of learn what the cards are capable of as you play. So by the third or fourth round of the fight, you kind of understand what the boss is capable of and how to move and not move in order to get around his abilities.
Okay. So it's like every boss kind of like has a set pattern. Like example, I don't know, Hydralisk boss is like fire, water, wind. So that means he will always play a fire, water, wind card in that specific order, but what those fire, water, wind cards are totally random from game instance to game instance.
Exactly, but that's basically the gist of it. The order's not specific. Like he might do like water, fire, wind in on certain turns. So he deals them out at random, but there's actually like 6 fire cards, 6 water cards, and 6 wind cards, and he's going to take 2 of each of those and use those to make his deck. So he has a very small deck of very powerful attacks, but they're easy to learn because there's only 6 of them, or 8, actually 8, rotating through his attack pattern. So there's more though.
There's even more. Wait, there's more.
There's even more in this game.
If you call now for only $9.99.
Yeah, this is the part that I haven't revealed yet on the blogs or anything, what the way this works. But the game is actually played in 2D, or on a screen style board. So the board is a rack, which is propped up, so it's vertical, and your characters are on platforms on this rack, and they can move up and down and left and right. But gravity is a real mechanic, and things fall down. You can jump in arcs. You can attack in different physical arcs. So the game has a very arcade style feel to it, if that makes sense. And all the players kind of sit in a semicircle around this board, so that they can operate the characters on it.
So it looks like a side scroller, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it looks like a side scroller when you're playing the boss fights. They are actually like vertical space rather than top down like every other game in the industry.
Okay, wait. So how do the miniatures work? Wait. Huh? Like, if you're gonna have
there are platforms that sit on the board, and the miniatures then sit on those platforms.
Oh, wait. Are you telling me that the board for this game is vertical?
Yes, the board is vertical. Platforms stick into the board, and then miniatures sit on those platforms. And when you you take the board, you put a piece of like a board, an actual like illustration behind it, so it looks like you're in a certain zone in the background. And then the platforms plug into that zone according to how it's set up. But it also the backdrop will also tell you if there's traps or crates or tombstones or fire or whatever that you have to like move around and manipulate. So like you can hide behind these obstacles if things are incoming. You can they can push the boss into the traps, that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
It's kind of it's kind of like Smash Brothers. It looks like Smash Brothers.
It looks like Brad.
Yeah,
awesome.
It looks like Smash Brothers. So that's Seventh Cross. So yeah, and then you fight the monsters, you clear the puzzles, you explore the castle, you get the keys, you get to the final boss, you defeat the final boss, and then you get a loot box. And inside the loot box is non-randomized loots for your party. So it's not truly a loot box. I guess it's more of a reward chest. But you get the reward chest, and inside the reward chest are like clues, like things you've learned during the story. And these clue cards, you can pair them together, and when you link up two clues that match, it unlocks more envelopes with more castles for you to explore, and sometimes other things too.
So you play this like over multiple times. Is it kind of like Seafall in the way you expect the experience to be like? Like you unlock.
So it's a little bit like Seafall in that you unlock stuff. I mean, that's the typical legacy stuff, but each stage is kind of its own self-contained thing, and each one's about 30 minutes. Some of the boss fights can be a little bit longer, like the big boss fight in each castle might be 45 minutes. But players can jump in and jump out between any stage. Players can like change characters between any stage, and there's also an area that's like called Sanctuary. That's kind of your neutral area, and your Firelink Shrine, if you will. Okay. And you can go back there. Yeah, you can go back there between any stage. And at this sanctuary are all your associates, and associates are the people that will do services for you, like upgrade your weapons, or take you back to search areas you haven't seen yet, or give you buffs for the next fight. All these different things. And
you get
with some of the items that
you get associates during stages in gameplay, like you save a guy.
Yeah,
in gameplay.
You'll discover the associates as you explore the castles, and then they'll be with you for the rest of your game, for the rest of your adventure. Not just through that castle, but you can take them to all the other castles as well. And when you some of the things that you find in the castles are just what we call affinity items, and they don't have any use except that you give them to your associates, and it raises your affinity. And when your associates like you more, you get cheaper products, you get better services, you get access to more upgrades, that kind of stuff.
So you're telling me there's like a Harvest Moon Persona-esque dating system where you're courting people, and do you get to marry them?
No, there's no dating.
Oh.
You recover artifacts and you give them artifacts, and then they are like, "Oh, thanks," and then they like you more. There's no romance to it.
It sounds like dating to me, Brad. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this sounds great. This sounds absolutely.
But yeah,
amazing.
that's the game.
Oh
that's
my
the game.
How many playable characters, Brad? How many playable characters?
In the base game, I'm currently planning for 6. But we might be able to add more with stretch goals and stuff. So that's what I'm hoping, is that we'll be able to add a few more characters by the end of the project, and maybe a few more castles too. I've got one castle plan, which I'm really excited about. It's called Millionaire's Mansion, and it's this kind of like crazy House on the Hill type of house of castle. And all the stuff you find in it is going to be like fan created backer stuff. So whenever we're going to basically have, when we do this project, we're going to have all of our backers get together and make a castle, and all the creation tiers are going to go together and build this brand new castle, the 13th castle for the game.
Oh, and it's gonna be like some sort of wacko fun house, madhouse place, or like one
kind of, yeah. So like there'll be things like you can get your portrait on the wall in the castle. You can get like you can decide what weapons are in the castle. You can make a puzzle for the castle. You can create a boss for the castle. You can design the antagonist character who's the master of the castle. Like fun stuff like that. It's going to be a really neat place.
It sounds really awesome, and it gets me excited for this project. So that pretty much does it for this segment, which I don't have a name for it yet. So if anybody listening has a good name for this segment, because currently I just call it Brad Talks About Development. Like, that's not a very attractive title, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah,
okay. I guess not, but I mean it's pretty on the nose. It certainly doesn't leave any room for error.
Are you sure? Because like, what if people are like, I listened to Brad Talks About Development and I heard nothing about housing, and
I guess that's true,
right? Like it could be housing development or like business development, right?
Yeah, I suppose. Well, we talked a little bit about business development. I guess I told you the schedule.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay, but I digress.
Next time on Level Cap, I want to tell you about our schedule for next year, like the order of games that we're coming out with next year, when to look for them, and what we're doing for each one. So next time, look out for Level 99 Games 2018 preview extravaganza.
Will Marco find a way to get a good name for this segment? Will Brad actually deliver on these promises? Watch out on the next episode of the Level Cap podcast.
What do you mean, actually deliver? I work really hard to actually deliver on all these promises.
Okay. Hey.
Speaking of delivering on promises, we didn't talk about BCO.
Oh, right. BCO. Quick. Insert like 2 minutes.
I know, things have kind of run on. We're working on a lot of projects, clearly. BCO is coming along great. The Friends update should be happening like the Monday after you listen to this podcast. So the Friends update's happening really soon. And then beta is going to be the end of January. And at that point, we'll start inviting people to play beta, and we'll start working on getting into like Steam and app stores and that kind of thing. So look out for BCO to be real in a month or so.
It'll be a real boy.
It's already pretty real. I mean, you can buy costumes and characters, and we've got a release schedule, and we're coming out with new characters every 3 weeks. So just expect that to continue for the near future, and or for the foreseeable future, and we'll keep having brand new stuff every 3 weeks. Friends are coming, and then after Friends, it's going to be tutorials, and then after tutorials, I believe it's what are we moving towards? Ranked play and rewards. And then once we have ranked play and rewards, then it's beta. And then before we get to release, which will be in summer next year, we're going to have AI and story modes.
Story mode? Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know we had story mode for this, Brad.
Yeah, simple arcade style story modes. But yeah, like fight your way through the enemies and get the prize.
Okay. I thought we had like some robust story mode like Tekken or something.
Tekken, I don't know if you remember the Tekken story mode, but it's
Sorry, I meant Mortal Kombat.
In Tekken 7, you can go back and watch those videos from the old Tekken games, and the old Tekken endings are just great.
You mean the best, right?
Where like Jin throws, or like Kazuya throws Hihachi off the mountain, and then he like turns to you and he just smiles that kooky smile.
Yes,
that's the best.
Oh my gosh, old cutscenes, man, old cutscenes,
old PS era cutscenes, so good.
Oh, so good. All right. So that does it for Brad Talks About Development. Again, if you want Brad to talk about certain areas of development, I guess like just not housing. So we'll move on to our next segment, our 99 questions. Brad, we have some questions here. Let's fire through them. Are you ready?
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, BCO is getting a lot of characters in the next few weeks. Which character are you most excited for?
Well, I'm most excited for the character that comes next, which is going to be Magdalena.
Oh, Maggie's the
Magdalena. Well, 7 is the next character, but
okay.
Mags will be in January. So look out for her in January, and then after that, well, I'll do a preview announcement in the next few weeks, and I'll tell you who comes after Magdalena.
All right, I'm excited.
We've got it planned. Yeah, we got the schedule planned all the way through next year. So We are working through the arts, working through the VOs right now.
Well, can you spoil me on when my favorite homeboy Joel comes out, Brad?
I can't spoil characters that are not yet on the schedule, Marco. Unfortunately.
Oh man.
Joel has his own issues, and they take a little while longer.
You mean together. Dual wield, right?
Dual wield is probably gonna have to go away in BCO. Like the game doesn't have the capacity to do 2 like double attacks. So I mean we could, but it would be pretty big. So we might find something else that's substitute for dual wield. But we're trying to get all the characters. We're trying to do all the characters that we can directly translate first, and then characters that require a little bit of modification. Those will come later on.
All right, I see. Okay. Are you ready for the next question, Brad?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Any plans to do a more reality-based fighting game, like emulating real combat sports? Is it possible to emulate
like
grappling?
UFC
or like MMA?
I mean, those are cool, but I think we're kind of full up on fighting games. Like Exceed, already is pushing the limit. Like it happens to me all the time. Is I go to a convention and someone's like, "Brad, I love BattleCon. Let me show you my battle game. Would you like to publish it?" And I'm like, "Well, the game is real cool, and I love battle games, but I can't publish any more of them because I'm already trying to juggle 2." And
technically you have 4, right?
If you count Pixel Tactics and BattleCon Online, then yeah, I guess that's 4.
Well, no, games. There's also Dragon Punch. There's also 7
yeah,
Card Slugfest.
All the little ones, yeah. Well, okay, we have games about fighting, but I'm trying to move away from games about fighting and give you some other games which are are different.
Oh, Brad, this brings the question: are you going to start making games about loving?
Why is loving the opposite of fighting? Wouldn't peace be the opposite of fighting, or like
isn't the ultimate peace love?
I guess so. I don't know. I'm not prepared for these kind of questions, Marco.
Deep philosophical questions about the nature of love and war. Okay, fine. Last question, Brad. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on.
Okay. What's the last question?
We just got started as season 2 of BattleCon Organized Play was ending. So I'm assuming this is somebody talking about, getting started on BattleCon Organized Play. Is there going to be a season 3? And if so, any idea when it will start?
Season 3 begins January 1st, and it will run through July or June 30th next year. So we decided to wait and start season 3 with the start of the calendar year and end it in the middle of the year. So we'll do 2 organized play seasons every year, and that way we'll have we'll have a better chance to get all the rankings together and get everybody playing, and it just makes a little more sense than to do it every 4 months. So that's what we're going to try and do. So we'll try and make it a 6-month spread, and it'll match the calendar year, and it'll start January 1st, 2018.
Oh, I'm so excited. So, for all of you who don't know, we're also talking about the mechanics and revamping everything. Season 3 is going to be way better than Season 2. Going to have clearer mechanics. Going to be better for everyone. Going to be fun.
And I think we might just end up calling it like 2018 season, like spring season, and 2018 fall season, because the people are getting confused with Exceed Season 2.
Oh. I see.
Like a lot of people have done that. Even here in the office, we've been talking about it. Like Josh is like, "What about season 3?" And I'm like, "Well, we're not even thinking about season 3 yet." He's like, "No, season 3 starts in January." I'm like, "Oh, that." So.
Oh no. All right. Okay.
So we want to make the organized play seasons based on the year and the season, or the actual calendar season, not the numeric ordinal season.
That makes sense. That's what Blizzard and all the other people do, right? So
yeah, and it works a little bit better that way because it is bound to the calendar. So why not?
Why not? All right, so that pretty much does it for our 99 questions. And Brad, I'm going to surprise you. That pretty much does it for this episode of the Level Cap podcast. Are you surprised that we didn't have a final segment?
No, because I asked you not to have a final segment in the chat.
Brad, you're ruining the fiction. Oh.
Well, we talked so long about development that I think we're running over time. I think our fans are going to get bored if we keep talking
about development. Yes. But yeah, pretty much. If you guys want us, if you have any more questions for us, you want us to explore certain topics, we're always free to change up the way the podcast works. Like if you want us to talk about other segments, or I don't know, you want Brad and me to become musicians. I don't know. We'll see. Okay.
Become musicians. Okay. That's a little odd.
I don't know.
Are these the kind of requests you normally get, Marco?
Well, at this point, as the guy who does videos sometimes and people like give me suggestions, I might as well be a dancing monkey, right?
Oh dear.
All right.
Oh
all right.
dear.
All right. So that pretty much does it for this episode. As usual, it has been me, your host, Marco DeSantos, also known as the Mechanic Critic, and with me is my splendorous, extravagandous,
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious
co-host.
That's me, Brad Talton.
All right, and as usual, we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
See you then.
Oh wait, happy gaming.